You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day, and happy birthday to some very notable Cancers as we wrap up Cancer season. Sofia Vergara celebrates a birthday today. Nikola Tesla would have, oh, I am lying. This is for July 10th. Never mind, but still notable Cancers. Ben Simmons, Chris Cornell, Giselle. I'm not going to try to say Giselle's last name, but you know Giselle. She's married to Tom Brady. Sandra Oh is a Cancer. Natalie Wood. Julianne Hough is a Cancer. Judy Greer. Steven Adams, famous NBA player. I don't know how July 10th got in there, but that's all right. Good morning to you, Rose. Good morning, Alex, and all of the wonderful people joining us. Hello, Rachel. How's everybody feeling this morning? We started the day with some tense transits, so we'll go over those, but what we're majorly going to be talking about today is the last quarter moon in Taurus. We're coming into the moon's peak releasing phase. All the tension we've been feeling over the past week or so, a lot of the emotions that have come up, now is the time to release and let them go. Hi, Maribel. So let's dive into the forecast. Of course, the sun is still in Cancer for the next 2 days. Leo season begins on Friday, and the moon moves from Aries to Taurus today. So at this very moment, if you're joining us live, the moon is still making its final transit through Aries. It will move into Taurus at about 11:45 this afternoon. And we're not just talking about the moon today. We also have another transit that's playing out in the background. So that's where I want to start. Because it's not going to be a major transit that affects us, but I think it's kind of going to be the undercurrent of the day, and we might already be feeling this. Mars forming a sextile to Lilith. So take a look at the chart. You can see Mars is at 10 degrees in Taurus. Lilith is at 10 degrees in Cancer. Anytime we have placements in Taurus and Cancer, I really focus on the physical body. Taurus rules the physical. Cancer is very much tied into our body. So check in with your body today, especially as we're talking about the last quarter moon in Taurus. The focus is really going to be on the physical. Heather says, crazy vivid dreams last night. I had some pretty vivid dreams this morning as well. No Neptune activations to talk about currently. I guess this morning the moon would have been forming a semi-sextile to Neptune. So yes, there was a connection there, but nothing that screams you're going to have vivid dreams. However, the transit we were feeling really strongly this morning, and we'll get into this, could have brought up some intensity. So that could always show up in your dreams. But back to this sextile between Mars and Lilith. You see it here. Mars is the planet of action and aggression. Lilith represents the part of us that wants to be sovereign, wants to be in control. It's kind of our inner bitch. And Lilith is very much associated with sexual energy as well. Mars, of course, being associated with our sex drive. I could see that being very prominent today. We could be feeling very seductive, very sexual, really wanting to feel powerful in our bodies. So if that's coming up for you, use it, right? Take advantage of it. Oh, vivid dreams for you too last night, Katie. Interesting. Pluto was not my friend last night. We're going to be talking a lot about Pluto in a moment. Hi from New York. Hey, Miley. Grand rising to you, Jackie. Get me on Bumble. Yes. Mars sextile Lilith. Yes. Yep, that is the vibe. So yeah, when Mars forms a sextile to Lilith, I just see this as like really being able to tap into our power, and specifically the power of our body, our sexual power. All of our actions today are supported by this need to feel in control, to feel sovereign. We're motivated by that desire today, especially when it comes to our bodies. So even if you're not in a relationship or in a situation where you can engage in that kind of activity with someone else, remember, you don't necessarily need anyone else to feel sexual, to feel in your power. So it could be a nice self-care practice, and self-care is something we're going to come back to. Nice self-care practice to just give yourself that sexual love today. But in general, you might even just feel, maybe it's not straight up that you're feeling sexual, but you just might feel more like powerful and kind of like, I see this kind of like boss bitch energy, you know, just like I'm going after what I want. I know what I need. I'm going for it. And I feel in control. I feel powerful. So, you know, Lilith isn't a major planet. It's a point along the moon's path, the farthest point from Earth. So it's, like I said, this undercurrent of today where we're just feeling this need for control, maybe this bitchiness. I know that has already come out for me today. Even last night, we were starting to feel this transit play out, and I went and took a heels class and really like tapped into that seductive energy. So remember, our seductive power is tied to our creative power. And yes, this is a time for release, but sometimes getting into that energy can help us really own our power and release what's not feeding into that. So yeah. Thank you so much, Miley. I dreamed about a black bear and her cubs in my backyard. Looked into the potential meaning of the dream and processing. Interesting. I just dreamed about all the things I need to do today. Nothing fun. Just the last couple of days I've been like playing out in my head what's going to happen that day as I'm dreaming early in the morning. I'm like, can't I just enjoy my rest without thinking about all the things I need to do? Oh, Alex has been having interesting dreams lately too. You know, and I will say, as we're in this releasing phase, our dreams can be showing us what in our subconscious needs to be released. So maybe that's coming up for you. Maybe for me, as I'm saying this, I'm like, I need to release all my to-dos. I need to release this, like, I got to get it all done. Just interesting. I feel like it's okay to take care of my body today, if that makes sense. Yeah, instead of my body being on the back burner or getting the scraps of energy. Yes, Katie, absolutely. Mars forming a sextile to Lilith, the moon moving into Taurus. Self-care, take care of your body. Our power, remember, like, our body is this vessel that carries our spirit. If we're not taking care of our body, our spirit can't thrive. So self-care is about the body in a lot of ways, especially today. Definitely full permission to give yourself some self-care, to give your body some love. Let's talk about the moon, though. That's what I'm really interested in talking about. So I'm going to talk about what happened with the moon this morning, and then we'll go into the last quarter moon. So the moon was in Aries, well, still is in Aries, but making its final little march through Aries right now. It's actually at the anaretic degree. Currently, if you're watching live, the moon is at the anaretic degree in Aries. Just right now, you might be feeling some tension. You might be feeling a little aggro, okay? It's all right. It'll pass. Just chill out. Don't make any sudden moves right now. I know you feel like you probably want to at the moment, but we don't need to. This morning, though, I'm going to actually back up because I want you to see what this looks like if you're joining me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. What happened at 6 this morning, and I just happened to catch this when I was planning all the transits. It's not something I normally would mention, but I want to point it out. Okay, let me go forward. It's like there was a very brief window where this was happening, so I've got to find it exactly. One moment here. We're waiting for that giant cross to appear. Okay, there it is. See the giant X? So the moon was forming a T-square to the sun and Pluto. anytime we have a T-square, it's capital T tension, right? If there's two squares happening at the same time with the moon being in the middle. So the moon representing our emotions, especially with the moon being in Aries, we're more aggressive, we're more action-oriented. Pluto representing death and rebirth, our shadows surfacing, and of course the sun representing our energy. So this is about 6 a.m. that this played out, and you might have woken up feeling some tension, or a lot of people saying they have vivid dreams. The Pluto is all about what's going on beneath the surface, our subconscious. So you might have been working out some of that tension in your dreams, even seeing some aggression in your dreams could be on point with this transit. Anytime the moon squares the sun, it's tension in general, just anxiety. This is what marks the first quarter moon or the last quarter moon, but we're feeling it this morning, just this tension. There's been a lot of Pluto activation. The sun's still opposing Pluto this morning. We've really been coming to terms with a lot of the shadows, a lot of these deep emotions that are surfacing, especially after such an emotional weekend. It's like we've been processing a lot of things at the beginning of this week. And the moon forming a T-square to that Sun-Pluto opposition is really bringing an emotional awareness to it and really showing us, okay, what do we need to release? What do we need to let go of? What have we been neglecting? What have we been ignoring? What's coming up right now that is forcing us to pay attention? And sometimes that can come through as anxiety or anger or aggression. But something really special happened at 6 a.m. So this was literally for like maybe 20 minutes. Actually, I'll show you. Take a look at this circle with an X in it. This is called the point of fortune, and it moves very quickly. In fact, watch, 10 minutes go by, and the point of fortune is already over here. I'm not an expert on the point of fortune, so don't ask me. If it's something that's piquing your interest, go do your own research on it. The point of fortune is more something in our birth chart that we look at. I don't track the transits with it because you can see how quickly it moves, right? But right as the moon was coming into this T-square with the sun and Pluto, the point of fortune became the release point, which is, kind of the point that completes this X, this grand cross. Which means whatever tension was coming up, especially if you woke up at 6 a.m. from a dream or something tense happened really early this morning, whatever that was is bringing us good fortune, is pushing us in the direction we're supposed to go. So it probably feels extremely uncomfortable right now, but I just wanted to point that out because, like I said, I caught it as I was tracking the transits. I never pay attention to this guy, but you can't ignore this giant X in the middle of the chart. So just know that good fortune is on our side coming out of this tense T-square that we've been feeling this morning. And going back to the current moment, you can see the T-square has passed. The tension is subsiding right now. Thank goodness. I mean, the sun is still opposing Pluto today, but I think we're kind of coming out of that tension, coming out of this really intense period of transformation, of realization. And now that we're coming into the last quarter moon, it's all about release. It's all about letting it go. So I see this morning's T-square as this kind of final tension, culmination point, realizations. And now it's almost as if we're like, oh, okay, that peak tension, and now we're releasing. So that was the final transit that the Aries moon made. As we're speaking right now, the moon is void, moving through the last degrees of Aries and at the anaretic degrees. So although it's void, I still feel this era of tension playing out and restlessness maybe this Wednesday morning. Feeling that tension, appreciate the encouragement. Anytime I see a silver lining in the transit, maybe that's my toxic positivity, I don't know, but I'm like, hey, the point of fortune is there. It's all good. It's all happening for a reason. And we don't have to have the point of fortune or a transit to tell us everything is happening for a reason, but personally, the reassurance is very helpful for me. Rachel says, the bears in my dream were like hunting birds, but not hurting them. It was weird. But this transit makes a little bit more sense of why I dreamed about that. See? Just interesting tension playing out in your subconscious, right? I just feel really out of control right now. I'm going to refer back to Mars forming a sextile to Lilith today. Find control in your body. Yeah, we can't control the outside circumstances. We can't control what other people are doing, how other people are acting, but find safety, find power in your body. And honestly, like leaning into our sexuality is a great way to reclaim our power, even if that means just doing it for ourselves, if you know what I mean. So let's talk about what happens when the moon moves into Taurus. It's the last quarter moon. It happens, the moon moving into Taurus happens at 11:23 a.m., so very shortly here. And the moon is exalted in Taurus. The moon likes to be in Taurus. You know, the moon represents our emotions, our physical body, and Taurus is all about the physical, so it makes sense that it likes to be here. Let's pull up the chart and see what's going on. So now the moon is in Taurus in our chart, and you can see the transits the moon will make over the next couple of days. Lots of conjunctions coming up that we'll be talking about tomorrow. But first, we're still in this tense releasing energy. So the last quarter moon, it's asking us to release what's no longer serving us. We have been in this very introspective phase with the waning gibbous moon, with all this Pluto activation. Things have been coming up. We're making sense of them. We're figuring out what do we even need to release. Now's the time to actually let it go. And with the last quarter moon in Taurus, it's like, what do you need to release in the physical world, in your physical body? What tension do we need to release in our body? All this tension is coming up for a reason. It's here to show us, hey, something doesn't feel good here. This is where we need to loosen our grip or let go. Even, you know, it could be decluttering your home. It could be just clearing out your physical space with Taurus ruling the physical, or it could be something deeper, like what values, with Taurus ruling our values, what values have I been subscribing to that no longer align, that I need to release? Or you know, it really just anything that's been coming up for you lately that feels like tension, that feels uncomfortable, is here to show you where you can let go. And Taurus energy, especially when the moon is in Taurus, is all about our comfort zone. So this is a time also to kind of reevaluate your comfort zone. Is it keeping you small, or is it providing a safe haven? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Of course, the transits affect us all differently, but this is really a time to reevaluate, how am I keeping myself small? What values am I subscribing to? Even how is my physical space maybe limiting me in a way that doesn't feel good anymore? And how can I move past that? How can I release it? I have Mars in Taurus. The moon in Taurus is a nice energy for me. Feels very supported in movement, moving through things. Yeah, and Mars in Taurus, as we'll talk about tomorrow especially, is like nice, grounded, slow and steady movement. So I'm glad you brought this up. You're probably having your Mars return, which is nice. It's like renewed motivation for you. But when the moon is in Taurus, with Mars in Taurus as well, it's really inviting us to get grounded. And that's a great way of releasing tension. Alex says, I've been able to release a lot of tension lately. I did declutter my home, room, car, workspace, and my comfort and confidence have shot up back to where I wanted. Honestly, Alex, I needed that encouragement today. So thank you, because I've been a little bit scattered, and I normally like to have things very nice and neat, and my house is a mess. Everything is just kind of scattered, and I do feel a lot more confident and comfortable when I'm in a nice, comfortable space. So that's a great addition. This is why I love having this live conversation with you all, because I have these insights that come through like, okay, Olivia, you've been putting all the clothes away. Get it together, Olivia. Yes. No, we need the tough love. Thank you. But yeah, reevaluate your comfort zone. Is it feeling comfortable? How can you make it feel more comfortable? And how can you make your body feel more comfortable as well? All questions the last quarter moon in Taurus are asking us. The moon squares Mercury this evening. So we have 2 more transits to talk about now that the moon is moving into Taurus. At 4 p.m., the moon squares Mercury. So Mercury now in Leo, as we talked about yesterday, the moon and Taurus, they form this tense 90-degree angle to one another. When the moon squares off to Mercury, there's tension, again, that word, tension, between our mind, ruled by Mercury, our thoughts, and our body, our heart, our emotions, ruled by the moon. So I see Mercury and Leo like, yes, bold, we're going to say the things, we're going to do the things. You know, Mercury also is like our daily routine, and we're feeling more fire to get things done, to do things, to be bold. But the moon in Taurus is like, slow down, take care of your body. We don't have to do it all right now. And so you can see where that tension can play out of our mind telling us, keep going, keep doing it. And our body being like, yeah, no, I need a timeout. Thank you. So that might play out for you today as you're evaluating what you need to release. Again, tension could come up of like, what is my mind trying to force me to keep doing that my body is saying no to? And you know, our body rules. Our body, we can't have a clear mind if our body is out of sorts, right? So today is really a day to listen to your body and come back into your power in your body, find control in your body, and find comfort in your body as well. Now, we do have a positive transit to talk about, I swear, and it's the last transit we'll be feeling today. The moon is forming a supportive angle to Venus. So once the moon hits that 3-degree mark, it's in a 60-degree angle to Venus. And you can see that here. The moon, Venus, a nice sextile. Oh, the chart's not up. Here we go. There it is. The moon and Venus forming a sextile. This is going to help us lean into that self-care we've been talking about, especially with Venus and Cancer. Indulge in comfort food tonight. Draw yourself a big bubble bath. Lean into a cozy blanket. Lean into self-love. Lean into self-care. What better way to release than to relax? And the energy of the day is not relaxing until we get to this evening, until we kind of can exhale, breathe out, and Venus can help us remember what feels good in our body. Giving our body some love will just feel really supportive tonight. And it's just a full permission slip when the moon and Venus connect. This is at 6 p.m. So it almost feels like the moon squares Mercury around 4 Pacific time. It's like this, okay, I've been doing too much. My body's telling me to slow down. And then Venus comes in a couple hours later to be like, remember, this is self-care. This is how we slow down. It's okay to just be in your body and eat the super cheesy, delicious food or whatever your palate wants to eat. And indulge a little bit. A little luxury never hurt anybody. And that's what the moon in Cancer harmonizing with Venus, or excuse me, the moon in Taurus the moon in Taurus supporting Venus in Cancer. What is going on with my brain today, you guys? That's what this transit is allowing us. And now that I am slowing down, I'm like, whoa, I need to slow down. The Aries moon has kept the energy really high, right? Like go, 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 do, take action, move your body. Once the moon moves into Taurus, it's like, whew, okay, let's just slow down here. All right, everybody, let's just, I don't even need to say words. It's just this motion. Just, whew, exhale, right? I can like already feel, okay, this is where I'm going today. We got to take it down a notch. Your Mercury's in Leo, Miley. So this Mercury in Leo transit over the next 3 weeks, you'll definitely be feeling expressive and feeling really on point with your mental state. Another Reiki tonight. That's amazing. Either a certification session, I don't know, but really great when it comes to the moon in Taurus, the physical body, ending Cancer season, talking about the energy we hold in our body. That's awesome. And yes, Venus always comes to our rescue. Thank you, Venus. Like, we need you. Thank you. I think I indulged a little too much the last month going healthy this week. I love that you brought that up, Alex. You're just giving me all these insights to talk about today. Because sometimes indulging is actually giving your body what it wants and what it needs. And sometimes our body actually wants the healthy food. And we convince ourselves, oh, this would feel good if we just like let ourselves have the cookie or whatever. But the key here when it comes to self-care, when it comes to indulging, is really listening to what your body wants, what your body needs. Sometimes our body needs a little bit of sugar. And I know we like villainize sugar or, crappy food. Yeah, of course, there are good sugars and bad sugars, but sometimes your body is telling you it needs energy in one way or another. So really listening to your cravings, your true cravings, not just the thing you want to reach for that feels good, but, indulging can also be making a nice, healthy meal and enjoying the process of making the meal and enjoying how it feels in your body. Because also, when we're eating too much crappy food, it ends up bogging us down and our body doesn't feel good. So it's not just about self-care, like eat the chocolate bar. It's like, what would make my body feel good? That is the root of the self-care we're talking about, for sure. Or Taco Bell. Don't villainize me right now, okay? I have been eating horribly this week, and I feel like you are speaking directly to me right now. So yeah, in general today, like if I could just sum today up, because I know we've kind of been all over the place. Maybe I've been all over the place. I don't know. There's tension. We're feeling this peak of tension this morning. We're kind of still making sense of the tension this afternoon, and this evening should feel like a giant exhale. And checking in with our body is going to be very important. Self-care can look like leaning into that sexuality with Mars and Lilith connecting. Self-care can be like making a healthy meal, indulging in something decadent, drawing a bath, whatever that looks like for you. I mean, let's be honest. In my book, if there are kids, plug your ears, having an orgasm is self-care, okay? And Mars and Lilith are telling us, like, have you been neglecting that part of yourself? What better way to release, right? It's all about releasing through self-care today. Yesterday, did Taco Bell, hated it. Today, had another test, rejected it, and got me a middle ground reward for that. See, there you go. There you go. It's all about finding that balance, finding what feels good for you. And sometimes the release under the last quarter moon can come from releasing, again, these like values. Like sometimes we get so stuck in like, this is what's healthy and this is what we can have. And maybe releasing for you, it's different for everybody, but maybe releasing for you is like, I'm going to release the need to be perfect in my diet and release the need for everything to be super duper healthy and just feed my body what it feels like eating right now. I don't know. I'm going to release the need to have a partner, to have a sexual experience. Again, it's different for everybody, but with Mars and Lilith connecting today, I really see that as being a key component in the release, in the relax, in the indulgence that we're talking about. Today's really about the physical. Like I just see Taurus energy, Mars in Taurus, Lilith in Cancer. Really pay attention to what is going on in the physical today. And if you want a little mini horoscope, I wrote some on my website, thespiritualjournalist.com/daily astrology. They're at the bottom of today's forecast. I'm not going to go through each one today, but you can find a link in the description if you just want a little bit of insight about maybe what area of your life this last quarter moon is activating. If you're thinking to yourself, we've talked a lot about different ways of release. Use your rising sign if you know it, and find out what area of your chart, what area of your life this is activating. That can kind of lead you in the direction or give you some insight into more clarity about what you can release personally based on your chart. So that's waiting for you at thespiritualjournalist.com. And that brings us to today's affirmation, which is I release tension. Super simple, super basic. We're feeling the tension. How can we release it? How can we let go of it? How can we listen to our body on a more personal level and ask what it needs and ask what it needs to release? Today is really about getting intimate with our body's needs, getting intimate with ourselves, and grounding into physical reality. Yes, it's fun to be up in the ethers and to explore our mind. I'm all about that, but today is really about honoring our body. This is so on point. I watched the episode you did on Manifestation of Self-Love with Tuesday. Oh my gosh. If you need a little bit of sexual inspiration today, go watch that episode of The Spiritual Journalist. It was from a few weeks ago, but you can find it on my YouTube channel or at thespiritualjournalist.com/join the conversation. But yes, if you're needing some encouragement or even just a pep talk about why that form of sexuality and self-love can be so powerful and so important, that is a great episode to watch. And we also talk about, as Rachel said, the ability to manifest through self-love, through orgasm. So releasing tension, again, best way, in my opinion, to release tension is through some sexual self-love. Let's go ahead and pull a card. Thanks for being here, Alex. Let's go ahead and pull a card to wrap up today's episode. I'm going to pull from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. She just feels like a Taurus to me. And since we've been talking so much about releasing and what's going on with the moon, I figured this would be a good deck to pull from today. So you know the drill. Now's your time to add any more insights to the chat here. Ask questions. Let me know what you have on tap for today. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you, what's been coming up for you. Okay, and let's all take a collective deep breath. Here we go. Breathe in and release. What do we need to know? Faith. We got the Faith card, the Worm Moon card. I love this drawing. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like Mama Earth, and her belly is the world, her pregnant belly, and then the moon is above her. It's card number 31. If 31 is an important number for you, this card is definitely for you. And here's what it says. Faith. Fertility and abundance now return. Things will get better. Growth has started. Hold on to your dreams in adversity. I know all will be well. In the darkest times, it's when we find it hard to see the light. It is hard to see when things seem hopeless, how we can ever feel hope again. When things seem to fail, it's really difficult to draw up our resilience and stand up again. We learn by observing the seasons that the light does return. The bareness of winter turns infinitely and surely into spring. The ice melts, the days grow longer, and the nights grow shorter. Warmth and fertility slowly return to the land. It's hard to have faith in ourselves and the universe. I actually think faith is the real F word. That's what the guidebook says. Faith requires us to let go of our anxieties and have trust, perhaps in something we can't actually see yet. Having a more complete faith in yourself and a higher power to lead you to your greatest good is a solid intention. While having a rigid, blind faith does not serve us, it's important to hold on to our dreams and intentions and to focus on the outcome. To do this without taking note of what is happening around us can be folly, though. Our ancestors would observe nature carefully, looking for the signs of new life and fertility, altering their hunting or planting to best take advantage. Yet they knew that the ice would melt, and the soil, damp and ready, teeming with worms, would receive their seeds. Faith. Have faith. Yes, today's tense, but I love how this card also talked about observing our physical environment, observing what's abundant right now, what is about to be abundant, having faith that the soil is rich and things are about to grow. And even in darkness, light will come again. So we're actually going into the darker phase of the moon. And a lot of darkness has come up with all this Pluto activation this week, with a lot of emotions surfacing. But no, even as we're releasing, as we're sorting through it, the light will return again. And sometimes we have to go through these dark periods. We have to release. We have to let go. We have to have faith that we no longer need that thing we've been gripping so tightly in order to make room, make way for our next wave of abundance, in order to make sure that the soil is fertile and there's room for new things to grow. My baby is feeling all the tension this morning, more teeth poking through his gums, the release. Yeah, and it's like, what tension are you holding in your body? I know we talked about this yesterday, but especially with the moon now moving into Taurus, literally, like, where is the tension being held in your body and where can you release that? And, you know, he's teething. He's literally going through transformation. As we've been talking about all this Pluto activation, there's physical transformation happening for him. And of course, that's a great example of like discomfort through transformation. Of course, we want your baby to have teeth. We want him to keep growing, but it's sad to see him in discomfort. And if we could see ourselves as him, if we could see ourselves as little babies, you know, cutting some new teeth, going through transformation, I think we can give ourselves more grace when we picture ourselves as, you know, the infant or child version, just going through some transformation. The universe is teaching me a lot about holding space for myself and others. But look at you, a student of the universe, recognizing these things. How beautiful. Yes. Have faith, Court. Have faith. Yes. And Uranus in the North Node in your second house. What values do you need to release so you are more fertile and abundant moving forward? And I know you're working through that. I see you working through that. And I see big things coming for you with this conjunction in your second house for sure. And remember, we're all feeling that conjunction between Uranus and the North Node. It's been playing out for the past week. It'll still be going on in about a week or so, maybe even 2 weeks. But the changes and the transformation, I tried to combine those two words, are happening to push us out of our comfort zone, to push us in the direction of our highest good. I'm glad that resonated for you, Rachel. Saturn and the teeth reference. Yeah, it's like it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to go through transformation, and children are a great example of that. They're constantly changing. They're constantly transforming. They're throwing tantrums. They're trying to make sense of their emotions. And we're like, it's okay. You're just learning. And if we could just give ourselves that grace too, I think it would be a lot easier to navigate this crazy world. Faith is definitely needed. If you take one thing away from today's show, it's have faith. Release, let go of the tension, and have faith that it's making way for something that much more beautiful and that much better. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday ahead of you. I will be back tomorrow morning to talk about those conjunctions the Taurus moon will be making to Mars and Uranus. So we have a bit of a heated day tomorrow, and then we'll be all about Leo season after that. So changes are happening. Really take today to check in with your body, give yourself some love, because as we know, it's a constant evolution. The stars are always throwing new energy at us, and have faith that it's all working out for the highest good. Give your body some love today. Give yourself some love today. You already have just by showing up here, being part of today's show. Thank you for being here, Rose. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for each other in this beautiful community we're building. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. And once we get to the last 100, I think I'm going to do a fun giveaway for a free astrology reading. So tell your friends, because everybody who's already subscribed will be entered, and I'll tell you how in the next probably week or so. I'll announce that. So be sure you're subscribed, and just thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. I love starting my day with you all every day. I will be back right here tomorrow morning for another episode of Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.